Leonardo DiCaprio's career has been incredibly varied. Very few actors in the world had a career as Leonardo DiCaprio's. He started out with small roles on the TV show Growing Pains in 1985 and in low-budget horror films like Critters 3 in 1991. In the 1990s, he became a big heartthrob, starring in movies like Romeo Juliet, 1996, and Titanic, 1997. Later on, he became a top actor in major Hollywood movies directed by famous directors like Martin Scorsese and Christopher Nolan. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible career of the one and only Leonardo DiCaprio. We'll be counting down the top movies that have solidified Leo's status as a Hollywood legend. Kicking off our list at number 10. The Revenant, 2015. In 1823, a famous guy named Hugh Glass got hurt real bad by a big bear while he was out in the wild, where nobody had been before. His hunting buddies thought he was a goner and left him there. Now Hugh Glass has to use his survival skills to make it back home, all while dodging native people who are also on the hunt. He's real sad and real mad about what happened. And he's on a mission to find John Fitzgerald, his old buddy who double-crossed him and left him for dead. This movie was directed by Alejandro G. Iñárritu, and the folks who wrote it are Mark L. Smith, Alejandro G. Iñárritu, and Michael Punke. The actors in the movie are Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, and Will Poulter. Because the filming was taking longer than expected, the snow in Canada started to melt before they finished shooting. Summer was almost here, so they had no choice but to move the whole production down to southern Argentina, where they could still find snowy conditions similar to what they needed. Number 9. The Great Gatsby, 2013. This movie is based on a novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's set on Long Island, and it's about a guy from the Midwest named Nick Carraway. He gets drawn into the fancy world of his neighbor, Jay Gatsby. But soon enough, Nick starts to see the problems in Gatsby's flashy but kind of shallow lifestyle. It's a story of obsession, craziness, and sad events. The actors in this movie are Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire. They've been friends since they were kids. This is the first time they've been in a movie together since Don's Plum in 2001. Before that, they acted together in This Boy's Life back in 1993. The director of this movie is Baz Luhrmann, and the people who wrote it are Baz Luhrmann, Craig Pearce, and F. Scott Fitzgerald. The main actors are Leonardo DiCaprio, Carey Mulligan, and Joel Edgerton. Number 8. The Departed, 2006. In this intense crime and action story, the South Boston police are fighting against Irish-American organized crime. A young undercover cop named Billy Costigan is tasked with joining the gang led by Frank Costello. He quickly gains Costello's trust. At the same time, Colin Sullivan, a young criminal, is secretly working for the police and rising through the ranks. Both men are leading double lives, gathering information about the criminal activities they've infiltrated. However, when it becomes clear that there's a spy among them, Billy and Colin are at risk of being exposed to the enemy. They must hurry to discover each other's true identities to save themselves. But are they willing to betray the friends they've made during their undercover work? Directed by Martin Scorsese, written by William Monahan, Alan Mack, and Felix Chong, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, and Jack Nicholson. Number 7. The Wolf of Wall Street, 2013. This movie is inspired by the real-life story of Jordan Belfort. It tells the tale of his journey from becoming a wealthy stockbroker who lived a lavish life to his downfall, which included illegal activities, dishonesty, and clashes with the federal government. Jordan Belfort, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is a stockbroker from Long Island. He spends nearly 2 years in jail for not cooperating in a significant securities fraud case from the 1990s. This case involved widespread corruption in the world of Wall Street and corporate banking, and even had connections with organized crime. Directed by Martin Scorsese, written by Terrence Winter and Jordan Belfort. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, and Margot Robbie. Number 6. Shudder Island, 2010. In 1954, an up-and-coming U.S. Marshal named Teddy Daniels is given the task of looking into the disappearance of a patient from Boston's Shudder Island Ashcliffe Hospital. He's been wanting this assignment for personal reasons, but soon he suspects that he's been brought to the island as part of a twisted scheme by the hospital's doctors. These doctors are using treatments that are not only unethical, but also illegal and downright sinister. Teddy's sharp investigative skills lead him to a promising lead, but the hospital refuses to grant him access to records that he believes would help solve the case. As a hurricane cuts off communication with the mainland, more dangerous inmates seem to escape in the chaos, and the confusing and unlikely clues keep piling up. Teddy begins to question everything, including his own memory, his partner, and even his own sanity. Directed by Martin Scorsese, written by Leda Kalogridis and Dennis Lehane, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Emily Mortimer, and Mark Ruffalo. Number 5, Catch Me If You Can, 2002. This is a real-life story about a guy named Frank Abagnale Jr. By the time he was almost 19, he managed to trick people out of millions of dollars by pretending to be a Pan Am pilot, a doctor, and even a legal prosecutor. An FBI agent is determined to catch him and put him in jail. However, Frank not only escapes capture, but he actually enjoys the chase. At just 21 years old, Frank is really good at faking things. He's pretended to be a doctor, lawyer, and pilot. FBI agent Carl becomes obsessed with trying to catch this con man, but Frank seems to have fun keeping ahead of him. Directed by Steven Spielberg, written by Jeff Nathanson, Frank Abagnale Jr., and Stan Redding, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, and Christopher Walken. Number 4, Romeo and Juliet. 1996 Romeo Juliet is a 1996 romantic crime movie, and it's based on William Shakespeare's classic play. It was directed, produced, and co-written by Baz Luhrmann. The story takes place in a modern-day city called Verona Beach. There are two rival families, the Montagues and the Capulets. Their children, Romeo and Juliet, meet and fall in love. However, they have to keep their love a secret because they know their parents won't approve of their relationship. Along the way, they face obstacles like Juliet's cousin, Tybalt, and Romeo's friend, Mercutio, and there are many fights. Even though the movie is set in modern times, it still tells the same timeless tale of the star-crossed lovers. The film was released on November 1st, 1996 by 20th Century Fox. It received mostly positive reviews from critics and made over $147 million, despite having a budget of $14.5 million. At the 47th Berlin International Film Festival in 1997, Leonardo DiCaprio won the Silver Bear for Best Actor, and Baz Luhrmann won the Alfred Bauer Prize. Additionally, at the 69th Academy Awards, Catherine Martin and Brigitte Brock were nominated for Best Art Direction Set Decoration. In 2005, the movie was added to the BFI list of 50 films you should watch by the age of 14. Number 3. Inception 2010. Inception is a science fiction action film from 2010. It was written and directed by Christopher Nolan, who also worked on the film with his wife, Emma Thomas. The main actor is Leonardo DiCaprio, who plays a professional thief. He's really good at stealing information by going into people's dreams. He gets an offer to clear his criminal record if he can put someone else's idea into another person's dream. The movie also features a talented cast, including Ken Watanabe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Elliot Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Tom Berenger, Dilip Rao, and Michael Caine. The story is about a guy named Dom Cobb, who's an expert at a tricky kind of theft. He steals valuable secrets from deep within people's dreams when their minds are most vulnerable. Because of his special skill, he's in high demand for corporate spying, but it's also made him a wanted man worldwide and cost him everything he loved. Now, he's given a chance to make amends. He has to do something extremely difficult called Inception. Instead of stealing an idea, he has to put one into someone's mind. If they succeed, it could be the perfect crime. But their enemy is so smart that it seems like they can predict everything the team does. And only Cobb saw it coming. Number 2. Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon, The Osage Murders and the Birth of the FBI is a non-fiction book from 2017 written by American journalist David Grann. The book focuses on the Osage Native American murders. The story investigates a series of murders that happened in Osage County, Oklahoma, in the early 1920s. These murders took place right after they discovered a lot of valuable oil beneath the Osage people's land. In court, the Osage are given the rights to the money made from selling the oil found on their land. So, they're about to get the wealth they legally deserve from the oil sales. However, some people see the Osage as the middleman and come up with a complicated plan to get rid of them one by one, using any means necessary. Officially, at least 20 wealthy Osage people are counted as victims. but Gran thinks that there may have been hundreds more killed because of their ties to the oil. The book tells the story of how the newly formed FBI investigated these murders and how they eventually put cattleman William King Hale behind bars as the mastermind of the plan. Time magazine even named Killers of the Flower Moon one of the top 10 non-fiction books in 2017. Number 1. Titanic, 1997. In 1997, a movie called Titanic was made in America. It was directed, written, produced, and partly edited by James Cameron. This movie combines some real historical events with fictional stories. It's based on what happened when the RMS Titanic sank in 1912. The two main actors are Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. They play characters from different social backgrounds who fall in love during the Titanic's first trip. The film also includes other famous actors like Billy Zane, Kathy Bates, Frances Fisher, Gloria Stewart, Bernard Hill, Jonathan Hyde, Victor Garber, David Warner, Susie Amos, and Bill Paxton. The story begins in 1996 when a guy named Brock Lovett and his team are exploring the wreck of the RMS Titanic. They're hoping to find a safe with a valuable diamond necklace called the Heart of the Ocean, but all they discover is a drawing of a young woman wearing the necklace. The sketch is from April 14, 1912, the same day the Titanic hit an iceberg and sank. When the news about this discovery is on TV, an old lady named Rose Dawson Calvert contacts Lovett. She says she's the woman in the drawing and hopes she can help find the necklace. Lovett brings Rose onto their ship, the academic Mstislav Keldysh, where she tells her story of being on the Titanic. James Cameron, the director, has always been interested in shipwrecks, and he thought the Titanic was like the Mount Everest of shipwrecks. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through Leo's filmography. It's been an absolute blast, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Please let me know in the comments which Leo movie is your favorite, and if you agree with our number one pick. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow Leo fans, and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, keep watching amazing movies, and as always, stay passionate about film. Catch you in the next countdown video.